Well, hey there and hello, and welcome to the kitchen of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider, you selfers. For September 3rd, the day of the mold breakers. That's right, the day of the mold breakers. And here at the top of the page for the day of the mold breakers, we have us as a visual representation. A couple of wood knickknacks there. Some look a little improper. I suppose that's a decent visual representation. Who's to say? They probably just had a big old spreadsheet of images that they had licensed to, and they says, hey, those might break a mold. Though they do look pretty easy. I don't know who's to say, but that's not important. What is important is it's your birthday today. It's September 3rd. And if that's the case, I want to say to you, happy birthday. That's what we're here for, to wish you September 3ers a happy birthday. And if this video finds you long or perhaps shortly after your day has already come and gone, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else who's just joining us randomly, or more importantly and hopefully to celebrate the birthday of September 3, folks, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. So let's dive into it, all right? Before we get into the birthday read proper, a little thing I like to do is roll some dice. That's right, it is the DykASSt birthday cast, so gotta live up to the namesake, am I right? And for more important reasons, we do it for synchronicity's sake. And here we rolled us a 4 and a 2 for 6. That's right, a 4 and a 2 for 6. And what is synchronicity? Some of you may be wondering. Well, I say this a lot, but it's just you going out into the world and letting the universe show you that it's with you on your path. And you do that by looking for these numbers while you're out there. Or it can be numbers you roll yourself, right? But the intention is here for you to get you out there. So a 4 and a 2, 4, 6, that's right. And you just look for those numbers. And when you spy them, you chase them down if you can, all right? And then when they get away from you, or when you've determined how long to chase those numbers when you do see them, by your own set of dice perhaps, well, you stop and you wait for another sign. And what you're going to start to see, ideally, is that things start lining up for you, or the day starts to take on a theme. You know, maybe you start seeing a bunch of wooden knickknacks on your path. Hey, that'd be synchronous, right? Wouldn't it? Any event, that's all it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be these grandiose things that occur to you, but just little things, the universe to show you that you're on your path, right? Especially if you say, like I said, went into some shop that had the 4 and a 2 in the address there, maybe on 6th Street, and it was just a bunch of wooden whittled knickknacks, and you'd be like, wow, it just all lined up, didn't it? And then when you ask the guy, or the guy behind the counter asks if he can help you, you just say, no, I'm just here on account of some synchronicity. And he says, what are you talking about? You show him this video, perhaps, maybe, and then maybe he closes up shop and joins you, and guess what? You just made a new friend. And maybe you now have an in for a little discount on some wooden knickknacks that ostensibly will break the mold. All right, hey, enough about synchronicity. Let's dive in with your birthday, all right? Your month is September, your day the 3rd, and your sign is 9 to 11 degrees Virgo of the Virgo II period specifically, and your quality and elements is mutable earth. That's right. So September 3rd, the day of the mold breakers. People born on September 3 are not always what they seem, because others so often misread their nature and potentials. Those born on this day may be forced to play roles in life which, although not always disagreeable, are not exactly what they want either. Though September 3 people are generally multi-talented, often one of their attributes is appreciated at the expense of the rest. Physical beauty in September 3 females is a case in point, and because of good looks, there often other fine qualities may go unrecognized. Men born on this day tend to be mistaken by others for an easy touch, or pigeonholed by career or family status. And although they can impress others as quiet and tractable, no one has ever tried to take advantage of a September 3 person who will forget the result. And those born on this day have a steel-like armor that seals them off from all forms of flattery and vampirism. They may appear gentle, and even a bit soft, but they will insist on being treated honorably and fairly, and vigorously resist efforts to push them around. All right. Because their work is often of a visionary nature, exceptional people born on this day can be way ahead of their time and must understand if others are sometimes slow to approve of their methods. Fortunately, most of these mold breakers display great patience as well as confidence in the value of their work. Thus, they are well equipped to endure for years without recognition while continuing on with their endeavors. And their path to wider acceptance can be a bit smoother, however, if they take time to explain to others in everyday language what their objectives are and how they intend to get there. September 3 people of all abilities gravitate to action and controversy. They are often quite rebellious against the systems in which they must operate, and particularly when they feel misunderstood. Both their buoyant optimism and their temperamental nature have to be kept under control. Developing emotional consistency and strong willpower is essential for their success in life. In regard to matters of love and friendship, September 3 people often display a markedly stoic attitude. Here they run two dangers. First, giving those close to them the impression that they don't care. And second, procrastinating when decisive action is needed. By being too accepting, they may compromise themselves in romantic affairs and let certain important life choices slip away. The greatest challenge for September 3 people is in being more open with others and fearlessly confronting self-doubts. They should put their high moral code and sense of justice to work in defense of those who need help, rather than being defensive about what they perceive as criticism directed against themselves. And if those born in the state can discover and cultivate the best in themselves and diplomatically but firmly insist on the world taking notice of it, well, they will be better able to gain acceptance for their novel ideas and efforts. All right. How about that for a birthday breakdown? All right. See, I like this one. A lot of good points I liked and that I identified with too. All right, what do I have to say about your birthday? Let's refer to the notes. My little bit of a commentary here. Not always what you seem and forced to play roles because people misread your nature and your potential. All right, multi-talented, but often one talent outshines the others, perhaps to the extent the others aren't, in turn, given their due. I imagine it's probably interesting to discover what folks have to do or sacrifice to get some modicum of recognition. And maybe that's the cost of garnering people's time. It might just be. So other things are going to sacrifice because people only have so much time to invest. And it's usually only a couple minutes until they discover what a visionary you are. And then they can't get enough, right? So it is what it is, right? Now, I'd argue it might be worthwhile effort toward being yourself as much as possible, regardless the recognition, all right? Especially if realizing things your way are more important to you, and perhaps doing so incrementally, however, if your career is tied to the thing that most, it gets you some money, I guess you could say. I could just imagine if you were, say, like into pottery, and that was your passion, but you made money at, say, I don't know, painting portraits, but it wasn't your passion. Maybe there's just some way you can incorporate the two, synthesize a way to say, put a painting as a backdrop to one of your sculptures and make that part of the art piece. And there you become known for that. And, well, hey, I don't want to give you any ideas here. I could start doing that. But you see what I'm saying. Synthesize the thing you're passionate about into the thing that makes you the money. Maybe that's your way forward. I don't know. But we'll get into that a little bit later here, or that theme anyhow. Now let's see if I can find my place here. Synthesize your other talents into those that are more recognized so they don't disappear, provided that's even a concern. But good for you if you insist on being treated properly and resist the garbage people may throw your way, all right? The reading also relates that you have the wherewithal to keep driving on with your work despite recognition. And I'd argue that's exactly what's required if you're a visionary and ahead of your time. You have to wait for the world to catch up, right? It's also probably why you are averse to flattery, okay? You go long enough without it, and it comes off as false, all right? Because you know how to get along without any of that stuff. So when it does come in, it's just water off a duck's back, right? And I'm guilty of that as much as well. You come off as an actor and you go to all these auditions and you never get them, you never get them, you never get them, and you start to just be like, all right, whatever, I'm used to not getting them. And then when you do get them, it just comes as the same kind of news. I remember my agent was like, you can get excited now. And I was like, yeah, okay. It's just whatever, man. I guess I got a job now. So maybe that's the same kind of thing. That's what it reminds me of anyway. With that being said, get back to you, right? It's your birthday. You go long enough without the appreciation. It comes off as false and perhaps unnecessary. But endeavor to keep your optimism and your temperament on an even keel. And you're going to continue to persevere, all right? It's also healthy to take a compliment, all right? Even if it feels weird, just take it. I know sometimes we want to deny it, but take the compliment sometimes. It's a good practice anyway. But just don't let it go to your head, okay? Keep your ego in check. Keep your moral code and value yourself and your efforts as well as your output, all right? And worst case scenario, even if you fail to garner any kind of social success, you did yourself proud. And I argue that that's the most important thing anyway, all right? That's what I think, like I said. In any event, that has been your birthday breakdown. All right, hey, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. All right. Those born on the 3rd of the month are ruled by the number 3 and the planet Jupiter. And those ruled by the number 3 generally seek to rise to the highest position in their sphere. Number 3 people also love their independence. So those born on September 3 in particular must avoid playing a part for others which they would rather not play. Jupiter lends an optimistic and expansive social outlook to September 3 people, and combined with Mercury, which is Virgo's ruler, it grants honor and dignity. All right, hey, what do I have to say about your numbers and your planets? The number 3 in the expansive planet Jupiter, for some of that could have been a secondary star, but chose to be the biggest planet instead kind of energy. Independence and personal value, all right? You don't play a part in other people's games because you have your own. And it's probably more important as well as valuable, all right? Even if only recognized by you. But Mercury combined with Jupiter apparently grants honor and dignity, which likely explains the dedication you have to your craft. That's right. So hey, let's dive in with your tarot. All right. One of the more eclectic of the metaphysical New Age ideologies by my mind, but it's here in the book. So let's see what they have to say. It's also interesting, right? That's one of those things I don't know too much about. So let's see what it has to say. All right. The third card of the major arcana is the Empress, who symbolizes creative intelligence. She is the perfect woman, the ultra-feminine Mother Earth nurturer, who embodies our dreams, hopes, and aspirations. Her steadfast qualities should serve as a positive example of stability for September 3 people. And this card represents positive traits of charm, grace, and unconditional love, but also the negative traits of vanity and affectation, as well as intolerance for imperfection. All right, a little bit of a copy-paste job, as the tarot often is, but sometimes they personalize it, usually if they don't personalize the numbers and planets. But hey, that's what I'm here for. Provide a little commentary if you like. What do we got here for your tarot? The Empress, for that creative intelligence, all right? A trait that affords you the power to adjust to your situation by cooking up a means to adjust to the situation. And I would argue that's why we're in the kitchen today, how to cook up a creative, intelligent way to adapt to things. That's right. And the beauty of said trait is that it is always with you, okay? Even if the ideas to adjust to the situation don't work. And with charm and grace on your side, to include the assets and the wisdom you acquire in the effort, well, you couldn't ask for more, by my mind. And I'll tell you what, I had a situation, quick side here, I had a situation I was writing one of my stories or one of my books and posting it online, and I don't think the person that ran the site liked the subject matter, for whatever reason. It was, PG-13 maybe. In any event, they would always come back with reasons why I couldn't post this or couldn't post that, or why this wasn't going to work or why that wasn't going to work, and they weren't promoting my stuff. So I had to get creatively intelligent, and I would always come back and balk their thing and even mock the site in an elusive kind of way. I'm sure they recognized it, and I probably didn't make the best, I didn't do it very diplomatically, but I was cracking up the people who did subscribe to my particular stories there. And it's just that creative intelligence, they would put up a boundary, and I had to cook up and figure out a way to get around it within the terms that they set for me. And sometimes when you have obstacles, or what do you call it, preset standards you have to work within, it's just a better way for you to get creative. And you know what? It just added more assets to my tool bag. Even though at first it felt like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. You always can, all right? You always can, if I said that wrong. All right, hey, let's dive in with your health. This is your birthday, so let's quit focusing on me. I'm just trying to provide some examples, though. All right, hey, let's get into your health. Those born on September 3 must beware of becoming inactive. And once they are established in their chosen field, they have a tendency to become sedentary, which can spell problems for diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and gallbladder trouble. Therefore, they should severely limit their fat and sugar intake while at the same time putting themselves on a regular exercise program. More athletically inclined individuals of the September 3 birthday day, all right, totally read that. More athletically inclined September 3 people, for whom inactivity is not a problem, should endeavor to get enough sleep and rest while avoiding tobacco and alcohol particularly. In order to keep healthy psychologically, September 3 people must allow themselves a life which they really enjoy and resist the impulse to please others in order to be accepted, liked, or loved. Developing a positive self-image and accompanying self-esteem is very important in this respect. All right, hey, what I have to say about your health. All right, don't don't rest. Always be driving forward, okay? I already lost my place. And stay active, it says, all right? This element of resisting the impulse to please others in order to be accepted, liked, or loved is of interest to note, okay? And I say as much as because it's not something they generally write in the health section, if they've ever written it at all. I know they've probably written as much somewhere. They're probably in the Vice, but seeing it in the health is interesting. So it did speak of psychological health, and so I would presume that that's what speaks to as much. And if they do note that it's important that your psychological well-being and welfare is to be taken note of, I'd take note of it, because that's something else they don't often get into inside the health itself. So presumably it speaks to the importance of focusing on your psychological well-being and welfare, because we all know the importance of diet and exercise, right? We see it and we hear it every day. But keeping your self-esteem in good standing, we don't hear about that as much. And I'd say it's an integral part of your success specifically, especially if you go through life without the recognition that you kind of feel like you need. All right? But hey, those true visionaries, they keep pressing on and driving forward regardless, right? All right, hey, that's what I'd say about your health. All right, let's dive in to some advice. All right, actively seek to do what you really want to do. Develop your self-confidence and your assertiveness, and don't be afraid to fail. Try not to cultivate too much mystery around what you do, and take time to explain your methods and your motives to others. All right, quick in and out with the advice here. Don't be afraid to fail, all right? It's just another opportunity, like I said, to get creative. You got the creative intelligence behind you. Find a way to spin it. That's right. Be the spin doctor. And I myself love mysteries, so I don't quite understand that particular note or how it's going to be beneficial to you, but maybe something to consider. But I also over-explain things to a fault, so I probably spoon-feed a lot of mystery to folks, so I have to actually drill down on not being so spoon-feedy or whatever you call that. But so, hey, maybe that's something you need to focus on a little bit, explaining your motives and such. In any event, that's been the advice. Yeah, so explore some of those things I mentioned, if and you don't already. All right, let's dive in with your meditation. Your meditation. Hear what others say to you. but remain in tune with your own inner voice. Once again, hear what others say to you, but remain in tune with your own inner voice. All right, there's your meditation. That's just for you. It's your birthday. I don't need to break it down for you. All right, hey, let's dive in with your strengths and your weaknesses. Oh, all right. Your strengths, you're multi-talented, you're socially adept, and you're patient. And your weaknesses, are you ready? All right, everybody's got them. Procrastinating, overly stoic, and yielding. Ooh, don't want to be yielding unless it's in traffic. That's right. You don't have to come to a full stop. That's right. Hey, it's a strength in some ways. All right. I don't think that's what they meant. In any event, hey, let's get into those born on this day. And at this point, I like to take the opportunity to focus on something I've noticed out in life, and that's when I get out there and I meet folks, I ask them what they do, and more importantly, if they like it. And a lot of times they don't. And I would argue that one of the main reasons why they don't is because they haven't had the time to put in the work to figure out their passion. All right. And I know for me it was a big problem, and I'm probably still working on it. But it does take time and it does take work, and a little bit of that creative intelligence too. That's right. But so I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to see those who not only share your company, what lottery you drew with who's born on this day also, but to see what put them in the cultural zeitgeist, if you like. See what put them in the book, put them on the map, and if you yourself can't figure out your passion, well, then maybe you can take some inspiration from the folks that ostensibly did. That might not be their passion. It might have been one of their secondary talents that got all the promotion. Who's to say? But let's dive in with those born on this day. All right, we start off with Louis H. Sullivan, an architect and Chicago Stock Exchange. I'm assuming that's a building he designed, and an early skyscraper designer. It also says dictum, and quote unquote, form follows function. That was his dictum, I would say. All right. We also have Carl D. Anderson, the U.S. Nobel Prize winning physicist and positron discoverer. We also have Dixie Lee Ray, a marine biologist and Washington governor. We also have Marguerite Higgins, a journalist and a Korean War correspondent, and the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for foreign coverage. We also have Jeffrey Goldstone, British U.S. physicist and director of the MIT Center for Theoretical Physics. We also have Charlie Sheen, the film actor, Pierre Troisi-Gros, saying that wrong, it's a French name, French chef, hotelier, restaurateur of Les Fruères, Troisi-Gros, and Nouvelle Cuisine. Innovator. We're going to have to chop the company logo for that abomination there. I didn't mean to butcher his name there. We have Urho Kekkonen, again, another butcher. These names get me sometimes. A Finnish president. We also have Loren Eiseley, who was an anthropologist, writer of The Immense Journey. We also have Alison Laurie, was a novelist of foreign affairs. Frank McFarlane Burnett was an Australian virologist. We have Memphis Slim. How's that for a name? A blues musician. We have Alan Ladd, the film actor. Eduard van Benuem was a Dutch conductor, assuming I butchered that one. We got General Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali, a Tunisian coup leader and a president. I think I did all right with that one. Valerie Perini was a film actress, or is still, could be still alive, Las Vegas showgirl as well. We have Kitty Carlisle, the singer and film actress. We also have Mort Walker, the cartoonist of Beetle Bailey. We also have Geraldine Saunders, the novelist of Love Boat. And we have Pietro Locatelli, was an Italian Baroque composer. Well, there weren't really a few of those that I recognized there. I think there was one. It was an actor. Who was it? Charlie Sheen. That's the one I recognized. So I was like, where is he? Don't take too much time. All right. In any event, I think that has been it for your birthday. September 3rd, the day of the mold breakers, rather. Except to say, your season is summer, and your sign once again is Virgo, of the Virgo II period specifically. And your quality and elements is mutable earth. And once again, this has been September 3. Let's see if I can say this better this time. The Day of the Mold Breakers from the Secret Language of Birthdays. By Gary Goldschneider and you selfers. That's right. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you want to support the channel while also getting you a copy. Hey, it makes a great book to throw on your bookshelf or to put out on your coffee table when you got company. If you want to break that ice, you had trouble doing as much. And even if you don't, you know what? It's great for getting the conversation started. Even if it's for better or for worse. The conversation's gonna get flowing. Even if there's some tears and hurt feelings. Who's to say? In any event, now that that's put to bed, I just want to once again do what's most important here. And that's wish you a happy birthday. Alright? And if this finds you late, like I said at the top, I hope you had a happy birthday. For everyone else who joined us to celebrate September 3 birthday, hey, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday read. And once again, your daily numbers, 6 and a 3 for 9. Get out there and get on your path and let the universe show you it's there with you. That's right. And enjoy yourself, all right? Get creatively intelligent, all right? Take care of yourselves.